Moving on, and obviously Fight Talk, delighted to say we are now joined by a man who is taking part in UFC 231, Holloway versus Ortega. We are joined by the adopted Irishman, the Icelandic Gunnar Nelson. Gunny, thanks a million for taking the time to come on to us here at obviously Fight Talk.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, it's been a long time since we've seen you in there. Obviously, it was an injury. So the last time you were out there was in a fight where your opponent was fighting past weekend in Ponzinibbio. So your last fight was in July 2017. So how was the recovery from injury, and how excited are you to step back into the UFC octagon?
Yeah, it's been a while now, and I'm pretty excited to get back in there. It was very unfortunate that I got injured for my last one. I was really excited for that, supposed to fight Neil Magny. But, you know, it is what it is, and the knee is 100%, so I'm ready to go.
How happy are you with this opponent? Because I know you were talking about getting some top 10 opponents, and this guy is ranked. How happy are you with the opponent?
Yeah, I'm very happy. To be honest, I was to a point where I would have just accepted whoever. You know, I just wanted to get in there and get fighting. So, but we got a ranked opponent, and that's brilliant. He's a great fighter, Alex is, and I'm excited for it. You know.
It's again, as Rob was saying, it's something that you said it's hard to find guys to fight you. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so difficult to get matched?
I don't know. I think maybe because I'm not ranked at the top 10 at the moment, and but I do believe people think I'm a dangerous fight for anyone, and I think people maybe I don't know about the fighter themselves, maybe as well as their managers and stuff like that. They think it's a risky fight with maybe not as much to gain from as some of the other fighters that are ranked higher.
So as we said, you are facing Alex Oliveira in Toronto on the 8th of December. Have you been impressed with his recent performances? He's beaten the likes of Carlos Conduit and Carlo Pedersoli. Have you been impressed? Have you been watching them? Is that something that you do when he leading into fights, is study tape?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched him since he came into the UFC scene. I think I just seen him, so I've seen most of his fights, if not all, in the UFC, and yeah, I know how he likes to move and what he likes to do, and I know his style a little bit, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
Speaking about the fight, Alex had sort of said he thinks that he's going to just expect you to try and take him down, and that you're not going to be willing to stand and strike with him. But do you find that's a common perception that a lot of your opponents think? The one that comes to mind is Thatch, and we know how that ended up for Thatch on the end of getting knocked down and finished. But is that a perception that fighters have of you? They think you're just wanting to take them down?
Yeah, I think most people, that's the story of my career, basically. Everybody always thinks that I'll just go in there, shoot for a takedown, try to take them down, and then, get to the back or mount or whatever, I'm used to that by now.
Do you almost like it because people are almost underestimating the striking?
Yeah, it can definitely be to my advantage that people just assume that I'll go straight for a takedown, and so we'll see. Well, usually when you get in there, it's a little bit different. You get the feel of your opponent and stuff like that. You might realize when it's too late that I'm not necessarily just going to go in and shoot for a takedown. I'll just grab whatever opportunity is there, and a lot of times the fight does go to the ground at some point, and I work a lot of my wrestling, so I'll capitalize on takedown opportunities, as I've always done, and if the fight does go to the ground, I'm pretty confident there. So a lot of times you will see me finish fights on the ground, because I have a lot of advantage to a lot of the guys out there when it hits the ground. So I think guys are a little bit afraid of that, but my style is not going in there and just trying to take somebody down, and that's it. That's never been me. Not even from the start. That's never been my style.
Again, a lot of people that may not realise your earlier days was from a karate background as well, and I think that jumps out in your stance and how you approach it as well. So again, that could be an underestimation of your ability, and they only have to look at some of your earlier fights, and even as I mentioned, the Thatch fight, to see differently there. We do know as well with the Liverpool card when you were due to face Magny that Coach Kavanagh has teased a little bit that potentially Darren Till was the fight. Is that something that would interest you down the line? Because there's a lot of big names. I don't want to look past the opponent in front of you right now, but obviously Darren Till is spoke of and has a lot of hype behind him. Would that be a fight that would interest you, Gunny?
Yeah, definitely. We've that's been talked about before. I think he didn't want that fight at the time, and I thought he was moving up to middleweight, or I heard something about that. I don't know if he is, but I'd definitely be willing to fight him.
What's your actual thoughts on that, on his move? Because he did say that he was going to move to middleweight, and then he kind of backtracked and said maybe he's going to stay at welterweight. I know you've been a kind of proponent of people fighting in the weight classes they should be fighting in and not cutting too much weight. What's your thoughts on Darren Till potentially staying at welterweight?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to him. Yeah, I don't mind. Guys will do whatever they want to do. You know, if they want to cut all this weight, then, you know, be my guest. I just think ideally it would be good to get this sorted so that just guys, because it's much healthier, because a lot of these guys are the same weight, right? Yeah. And they cut all the way down just to put it back on and then fight each other, and they're the same weight. They're both walking in there 90 kilos or whatever. Why not just try to get rid of all that bullshit and guys just fight their weight, you know? And
there's a few different ways that it's done. Like I know in California they have to be a certain weight come fight week.
Hello, look at that. there's his kid, is it?
I know California do certain things. One championship. One championship also do hydration. There's different. They're talk about the weight classes. Like what do you think the solution almost is? Is it a matter of you just can't cut weight, or what do you think the solutions are for the extreme weight cuts?
Yeah, maybe like weight gain limits would be something to consider, you know, that you can't exceed the next weight class above you or something like that. I think a few of the organization, they monitor the guys from, you know, a week before or even 10 days before or something, you know, so that they see that they're not, if their hydration levels go below a certain point, then they basically can't fight, you know, and that's something that can be considered as well. There's plenty of ways, and I wouldn't be the best guy maybe to talk about this, but I'm sure there is ways to get around that and to create a safer environment for fighting, if you would, you know.
I know you barely cut weight to get to welterweight, but there's been a lot of talk of a 165-pound division. Is that something that even interests you? Because you would be cutting a little bit more weight, but I suppose, is it even, you know, much weight cutting because it's only a couple of kilo?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I'd go down to 165, no problem. Because I have no issues cutting weight. It's barely a cut for me. So 165 would be a little bit more of a cut, but still, I'd be fine.
Do you have any expectation that the UFC will do it? Have you heard anything?
The only thing I've heard is that it's in the unified rules now, right? Yeah. So I think they should. You know, I think they should create a 165 and then I guess a 175 class.
Yeah.
It makes sense, you know.
What do you think?
I hope they do, but we'll see.
What do you think the best way then to start the division would be? Would it be to get like the top 10 ranked guys and almost do like a round ribbon tournament to crown the first champion?
What you mean, like a Grand Prix?
Yeah, if they made like a 65 division like that, they get like the top, let's say 12 guys, and they just do a round ribbon to determine who becomes the champion of the division.
Yeah, I'd love a Grand Prix style like tournaments, even in the divisions like they are now. That would be very cool to set it up like that, and to have like a every year or whatever, every season Grand Prix champion. That'd be a pretty cool setup, I think, to be honest.
Because it just
that would also eliminate a lot of like this guy not fighting this guy, and you know we just see it like people just climbing up the ladder. He's fighting him if he wins that fight, and so on. You know, it'd be. I think a lot of fans would love that. It would be more. It'd be more sport-like.
Yeah, big time. Do you look at promotions? I'm not sure how aware of PFL you are, but they do a thing where they have tournaments, and that's their model. They just do tournaments. There's no other fights, and they play in a bracket. Is that something that would interest you? Maybe fighting in like a PFL down the line?
Yeah, like the one. What was it? The
Professional Fighters League. It's called.
Yeah. I saw something about that. Yeah, definitely. That would be something interesting. Maybe later. We'll see. But right now, I'm just concentrating on the UFC. You know.
Of course, are you in Iceland right now, Gunny? Or you're at in the
home? I'm in my house, my home.
Looks lovely.
Beautiful
way
house,
better than mine. Yeah. It's beautiful.
A little bit more space for your dollar, I think it is in Iceland than it is in Dublin City right now. But with that, obviously, a lot of people would be familiar as well that you come over and you train in Dublin. Is that something that you're doing during this camp? Are you alternating between Dublin and Iceland, or are you primarily staying in Iceland for this one?
For this camp, I've been home. You know, been in Iceland this whole camp. We had some good guys coming over here. One of the guys that I was and is my one of my main training partners was always in Dublin as well. Luca, he's moved to Iceland now, and he's here full time training with us. And then we had some guys over as well. Daniele from Italy, who trains in Dublin as well, has done. Matt Miller is here. For the wrestling game, and a few more guys. You know, it's been a great camp.
It must be difficult to leave that gym, because anytime I see videos and pictures of the gym, it just looks unbelievable. It's crazy how nice that gym is.
Yeah, it's a big gym. It's a beautiful facility. We have everything and more. You know, so the facility is unbelievable, and it's true. It's hard to go somewhere else, and when you're used to this, as well as just it's good to be home. You know, it's good to train at home. I like to go elsewhere for maybe a few weeks and stuff. You know, but it's also good just for my family, my son to stay here. You know, it's I like it better.
How old is your son actually? What age?
He's 4.5.
Oh.
Little rascal.
How does he react to Dad fighting? Has he seen your fights? Do you show him your footage?
He's seen some. He just calls it like grappling. It's all just grappling to him. You know, it's just a couple of dudes messing around. You know, having some fun. So I'm trying to keep it that way until he understands.
I'm sure when he gets a little bit older. Just like we say in Dublin, my dad would beat up your dad. He tends to hold a good card there. One question I wanted to ask you actually was Lee Hammond out of SPG in Dublin just was crowned IMAF world champion the past week. Lee is someone I'm sure you're familiar with. Just how good of a game has Lee Hammond?
He's brilliant. I've trained a lot with Lee. He's a phenomenal grappler. And he's very dedicated. He's a great guy as well. I like him. He's been to Iceland a few times here training with us. And then, of course, I've trained with him loads in Dublin as well. I wasn't surprised that he got that win. He's going to be a lot better than, probably all these guys on the ground. He's a phenomenal athlete. His style is different. You know, you won't see that style a lot in MMA, and he's finding his way. I think he's going to do great things, and I hope he will.
In terms of you going forward, I don't think you're a guy who likes to call people out. I know you were talking about the Masvidal fight. Who would you like to fight next? Is it just, as high ranked as possible, or is there a few fighters who maybe you find interesting and you'd like to test your skills against?
Yeah, like I've said before, I don't really mind. I don't have a specific opponent else. Then I would definitely like to get that rematch with Ponzinibbio. That's the only one that I would really like to get. But I think I will get it. I will get it eventually, so I'm not too stressed out. But other than that, just, some of the top guys, I don't mind who it is,
How frustrating was that? I know Jerry McCarthy, KO Media, had, I'll say, an incredible picture. It probably wasn't incredible for you to look at, but basically Ponzinibbio was holding your face like a bowling ball. The fingers were in so deep that you appealed this decision and it got rejected. So how did you feel coming over that with such clear evidence of a foul?
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't really know how this thing works and why it didn't go through, but for me, I wasn't really pushing that appeal myself, to be honest. When they approached me and said that we should do this, I was like, because to me, if you think about it, it went like it went. Whichever way, whatever happens afterwards, it doesn't matter. What happened, and I know what happened. And so for me, whatever, I understand that, you want to correct things and whatever your record or something, but to me, what happened. And the only reason why I really went through with it was because they were saying, like, you should definitely make a point, because if this happens again to the next fighter, maybe they'll consider it then, or it will at least open people's eyes to this kind of stuff, to people close to people's eyes. It's just something that obviously needs to be addressed because it happens quite a lot, and it seems to be. I mean, I don't know exactly how it is to be a referee, but it's probably hard to see and all that. But it's something that you should definitely keep an eye on, and when it's hard for the opponent, because it is cheating, and I think for sure that it's delivered in some of these cases.
That's how
and mine, I definitely think it is, because it's hard to eye poke somebody 4 or 5 times or whatever that was in the space of that minute or 90 seconds or whatever. It's, and the way it was done as well. It's nasty to watch that. It's like at this level in the sport to see that, it's just, you don't want to see that. And if it was me, I guess he doesn't think this way, but I do believe a lot of people will. Like, you don't want to win this way either, do you? No. It's, and people don't like to see that.
You get labelled with it as well. John Jones is someone that is just known for eye gouging. And of course Ponzinibbio is the same, and we even at the start of this we said there was an eye poke in the opening round of the fight. We're like, well, that's not surprising. But like Joe Rogan talks about this regularly as well, Gunny. Is it the gloves? You were in there, you wore these gloves for a long time. Is it that difficult to not poke somebody in the eye?
Well, I don't think I've ever poked anyone in the eye. I don't remember any cases. I've never felt my hand in somebody's eyes, so it shouldn't be a problem. But there is definitely a case with the gloves. When you relax, they open your fist, whereas some of the other gloves, they're more, they feel better on the hand. When you put them on, and they just kind of, when you relax them, they close your hand. You go like this. So, and you want to have your hand relaxed, right? When you're in there, of course. So I think that's maybe something that could be changed as well, and that would maybe help. But I think, of course, if you want to poke somebody in the eye, you're going to poke somebody in the eye, And, there's no gloves that will hinder that. It's if it's deliberate, if it's a game plan, you can poke somebody in the eye. Anyone can.
I don't think we'll be forgiven if we don't ask this. Your gym is known for its brilliant videos of songs. So far, we've had Thriller and Sia. What's next? Beat It. Yeah. What's next?
Yeah, I don't even know what's next. They just call me the morning off and tell me I'm Michael Jackson. I'm like, I don't even know how to dance. What the hell? Yeah, it would just be fun. Just do this and this, and then it'll look funny. Okay.
And how much effort goes into them? Because they are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot of they basically, the way I done it, the way they did the shots with me was we're just kind of watching the video, and they're trying to make me mimic Michael Jackson, which is ridiculous and very, very difficult. The way the guy moved was just unbelievable, and his body was very different than mine. And so we're just kind of, there's not much practice except where we everybody does the same dance, try to get it together at least so it looks half decent, and that's just like we do a few sessions of practicing just before we basically shoot, take an hour or whatever to get everybody synced as much as possible, and then most of the work is done by the cameramans and whoever edits and puts it all together. That's the most work, that's what makes it so good,
I don't believe that. I think you have a full length mirror at home and you're practicing the Michael Jackson every evening.
Yeah.
How does the idea of UFC Iceland, does that ever sound like a reality or something possible? Because MMA it's big in Iceland. Is it something you'd like to get the promotion there? Yeah,
for sure. It's just the matter of legalizing it, and that's in the progress. It's just, as you know, it's hard to get through to the congressman and everything. Like this takes time, and we seem to be a bit stubborn here, but it's going to go through. It will go through, and there's definitely going to be UFC Iceland in the future, and it will be packed. There's no way that won't sell out in a blink. So I would definitely look forward to that. Everybody here will try to get their hands on a ticket. But yeah, we have to legalize it first, unfortunately.
Well, Gunnar, we really appreciate your time coming on this evening. I know you can hear your family in the background, so we won't keep you any longer. We really appreciate the time. Can't wait to see you compete again. It's been too long. One of the favourite fighters to sit and watch. You're a true martial artist, and I can't wait till the 8th of December to watch you once again.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, Gunnar.